We're going live, Thom.
Good morning, everyone. If I could have your attention. Welcome to Unity of Bernie. As we prepare for our service, please turn off your cell phones and put them away for the remainder of the service. We're going to have a brief introduction by our minister, Jay MULKEY.
Thank you, Pat. Good morning and welcome to Unity of Bernie Online. We're so glad you're with us. This is the day, as it said, the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. And I know that you who are watching online, you rejoice with us too. I hear from you. And you feel the love that is in this place and know it. We ask you right now, if you're blessed by this, and I know many of you are, if everybody that was listening would press the PayPal button just for $1, you imagine what we could have. One point would have been $2,000 because that's how many were watching on a Sunday, according to our analytics. I ask you to do that. Press the PayPal button at the bottom of your page, or send your gift to Unity of Bernie, P.O. Box 1973, Bernie, Texas 78006. I invite you to do that, and you'll be blessed, and it will come back to you in many ways, and we'll be talking about that today. And now, as I always say, come join the family.
Thank you, Jay. I'd like to read a quote by Myrtle Fillmore. This was written in 1954. She was one of the co-founders of the Unity movement. When we are endeavoring to listen, to understand, and to follow our divine guidance, we find that every wind that blows does fill us with a spirit of plenty. This morning, again, my name is Parton. I'm going to be your worship assistant today. In addition, we have Thom Allen providing our music. Javier is our usher. David Coleman is doing our video today. And I'd like to take this opportunity to give a special thank you to Maria and Sherry, who take care of distributing the prayers for our prayer group each week. Thank you for all you do for being part of that service. If you're watching online, we'd like to give you a special greeting this morning, and if you could go into the comments section and just tell us where you're watching from, we'd love to hear from you. We're so glad you're joining us today. If this is your first time here in the building, if you'd please stand and tell us your name and where you're from. And I don't see any visitors today, so good that we all know each other. If you'd like to receive our newsletter or email notices, we have a sign-up sheet in the back of the church. We'd be happy to include you. If you're watching online and you'd like to get those, just put that in the comment section and we'll make sure you get included. We don't share your personal email or info with anybody else without your consent. You will notice a list of activities that are inside your bulletin. If you have any questions, please ask Reverend Jay or any board member, and we'll be happy to tell you more about those. For announcements, please feel free to pick up your complimentary March and April Daily Word from the back table. As always, we're collecting dry goods and toiletries to pass on to groups here in the Bernie area to help those in need. There's always a container by the front door each week where you can put in any donations that you bring.
It's full.
It's full. We'll empty it and
It's
be ready
emptied
to
already.
fill it up again.
It's emptied and it's ready to be refilled.
All right.
You're behind.
Please join us for lunch today after the service. We're going to El Rio for some fellowship and food. If you'd like to join us and you haven't told Ann King, please do so we can get our reservation in as soon as possible. Our monthly ladies' lunch is the third Wednesday of the month. Next month, that'll be April 16th. They're going to be dining at LaFour's Restaurant. If you're on the mailing list, you'll get an email notice to RSVP so Sherry can make that reservation.
LaFour's is where we went last time, but that's not.
We'll be going to some other interesting restaurant. We have an Edgar Casey group, study group that meets every second and fourth Friday from 10 to noon. And it does require an RSVP so you can get copies of the material. There's more information about that in your bulletin. The men's brunch group will be meeting the first Saturday of the month from 10 to 11:30. If you're interested interested in joining that group, having brunch with them, talk to David Coleman and he'll make sure you get all the details. We have, every Sunday, we have a Sunday morning book discussion from 9:30 to 10:30 in the fellowship room. Please come and join us. We're currently reading and discussing The Gift of Change by Mary Ann Williamson. Join us as we delve deeply into the powerful role of change in our lives today. And if anyone here's life isn't changing, we need to shake you and make sure you're still with us. If you're here for the first time, you're not getting our emails, please sign up. We really would love to keep you in the loop and hear what's going on with you as well. We encourage everyone to start wearing their name tags. We have a lot of new people that are coming, and this helps us all get to know one another. There's a lot more classes and things happening on Zoom, and those are listed in your order of service. So I would invite you to take a look at that, or go to the website if you're watching online and you can see all of those things too. At this time, will you please stand as we sing our celebration song number 72, Open My Eyes That I May See.
Open my eyes that I may see glimpses of truth thou hast for me. Place in my hands a wonderful key that shall unclasp and set me free. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my eyes, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my ears that I may hear voices of truth, thousand is clear. And while the wave notes fall on my ear, everything false will disappear. Silently now I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my ears, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my mouth and let me bear gladly the warm truth everywhere. Open my heart and let me prepare of it thy children thus to share. Shine with thee now, I wait for thee. Ready, my God, thy will to see. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine. Open my heart, illumine me, Spirit divine.
Thank you. You may be seated. Inside your bulletin, you'll find a prayer request form for any prayers that you may have. You can drop them in the offering basket later, and they'll be put in with other prayer requests. Our own prayer team prays over these for a week, and then they're sent to Silent Unity, where they're prayed over for 30 days. Now we will have our daily word read by David Coleman.
Good morning. Good morning. As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the daily word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of daily word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The word for today is joy. The affirmation, joy fills my heart and warms my soul. Today, I will view the world through eyes of joy. This mindful practice will make even the most ordinary things seem special, and the things I may have taken for granted seem fresh and new. Even the energy I bring to my relationships will be imbued with harmony and peace. I will feel lighter, kinder, and more connected to the people in my life when I commit to living with joyful intention. Moments of frustration, disagreements with others, and disappointments may disturb my equilibrium for a time, but will not rob me of my joy. I honor God each time I share my joy. As I bless myself by feeling joyful, I will bring more love, more peace, and more happiness to the world. And the scripture for the day is, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Psalms 118, verse 24. The affirmation again is, please say it with me,
Joy fills my heart and warms my soul.
My name is David Coleman. Thank you for worshiping with our Unity of Bernie family.
Thank you, David. Please stand and join in the call to faith together. New life awaits my response.
I enter in joyful expectation of good, and know it is done unto me as
I believe, and so it is.
Please remain standing while we sing our joy song number 122, "Love is the Answer."
Love is the answer, love is the answer, love is the way. Love, love, love is the answer, love is the answer, love is the way. Joy, joy, joy is the answer, joy is the answer, joy is the way. Joy, joy, joy is the answer, joy is the answer, joy is the way. Love, love, love is the answer, love is the answer, love is the way. Love, love, love is the answer, love is the answer, love is the way. Joy, joy, joy is the answer, joy is the answer, joy is the way. Joy, joy, joy is the answer, joy is the answer, joy is the way.
Thank you. And now our mission statement together.
Unity of Bernie is a vibrant, loving community,
providing a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you, and please be seated. And now I joyfully turn the service over to Reverend Jay. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Wonderful to be with you as always. You know what to do with the prayer requests if you want them prayed for in paper form. They're in the middle of your bulletin. Pat told you about it. As Javier comes forward with the prayer box, you can place those in there into the box, and they'll be prayed for by myself as well as Silent Unity for 30 days. Otherwise, some requests we keep just in our hearts. The Spirit within knows what we need before we even ask. The presence within us, and that's what we affirm this morning right now. Thank you, Javier. An attitude of complete surrender to all that is good right now. Loving and infinite presence that is the light of our lives. We come before you with many different feelings and requests right now. They're as different as we are, one from another. And yet one thing we all affirm and want is more good, whether we're going through a difficult time or enjoying a wonderful time, we seek more good, more unfoldment of what is meant for our growth. We know you're there. Your sweet touch is present right now. You are the one that makes the crooked ways straight and the hard ways softer. We turn to you in utter and complete surrender. We release our hold on what seems to be our way, our desire to have things go a certain way, and surrender to the infinite knowledge that is you. And at the same time, we know you comfort not only us, but the objects of our prayer. You are the foundation of our being. And for that, we are so thankful and so grateful. We affirm this. We know it. And so it is. Amen.
Well, thank you. Good morning, everyone, officially. That was pretty good. The playoffs, the plays on words this morning for joy are really working, and I guess I'm no different than anyone else. So today's daily word spoke about joy, and then Reverend Jay's message follows with a very intriguing message title. And suddenly, what do we do with that? I mean, joy, and then suddenly, how's this going to play out? It kind of comes to my mind, and so there's a question then in my mind. Coincidentally, I've written a song about where to look for answers when the need to adjust for change becomes apparent. Sometimes I have to do more than just write the song. I have to actually do something more about it to have my good intentions manifest. So we all have that connection here. We all know about making that connection, and I think it gives me extra encouragement when I remember that I'm among such people. So we can access our own creative potential, and we can choose from the choices within us to influence, even manifest outcomes. So with no further ado, I will now like to tell you about the answers inside. Everybody hear that okay? I am one, you are two. I'm in God, and so are you. All is one with the Christ in me. Alive together, we're in synergy, yeah. And if I feel alone, I've learned to recognize my thinking's upside down. It's time to look inside. Look outside for answers that are here inside. Oh, answers with which to shine. Where do they reside? Will they wake with my Creator? And He's right here inside. Turn my inner eye up to His sky. I plant my knees upon her earth. I sleep and rest in the peace of her night, and wake to His dawn of warming light. And if I'm feeling down, well, I've learned to recognize. Turn my thinking round, and it's time to seek inside. Oh, I search search outside for answers that are only mine. Well, they wait with my Creator. She's right here inside. Heart light radiates pure love. Now think are looking up for me, and as I'm a beacon of God's love, love begets love, yet endlessly. So I'll stand where I need to be to see the godliness in you and me. And when I pray, inside I see that wonder shared by you and me. But when I'm feeling down, well, I mean to recognize it's time to look around, down deeper inside. Oh, so I look outside for answers that are here inside. Oh, there are answers that let me shine. Where do they reside? Oh, they wait with my Creator, but He's right here inside. They wait with my Creator, who's in here blind. They wait with my Creator, who is right here. Thank you. In the midst
Of his children, the Lord said that he would be. It doesn't take very many. It can be just 2 or 3, and I feel that same spirit that I felt all time before. Surely I can say I've been with the Lord. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on His face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on His face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And in the silence, where all things are made new, we release our cares and concerns at this moment. And not only just cares and concerns, but those things that were real big stuff in our life. Things that hurt. That we sometimes can't even give words to, but the Spirit inside knows. We know. And we don't hide it. And we bring it forth for healing right now. In this time of silence. And as we gently come present to this moment, we realize the universe holds nothing against us. No matter how many mistakes we've made, we're still perfect beings. As the prodigal returned to his father's house, so we must return not with a morbid mind, but consciously and definitely with direct intent and a complete concentration of purpose. And we shall be met with a smile from the universe and shall be folded in the arms of love forever. And so it is. So I was driving down the street in October of 2008 from Whataburger, and I had my puppy dog in the front seat, and I had some food for me and my stepdaughter. And it was, I'll never forget it, I had a gold 300M Chrysler and just had gotten it, beautiful car. And moving down Broadway like I'd done so many times at the normal rate of speed, there was a woman who pulled out in a big, large pickup truck. And I was about 30 feet away, and just like that, had to hit the brake, and I slid, dovetailing. And in that time, in that sudden moment, I thought, what if this is it? I mean, it was coming up on me quickly. And there were a couple of things that came to my mind that I'll get to a little bit later on, but just like that, life happened. Suddenly, and we collided, and it was bad. The car was ruined. Thankfully, my dog and myself, I was fine. I had a little bit of neck problems that were a holdover, but they've been dealt with. And in that instant, and I was in ministry at the time, in that instant I realized how unsure and uncertain this world could oftentimes be. We take a lot of steps in fear and insecurity. Other people will know the feeling that I talk about when the doctor calls and says, we have some test results that we'd like to talk to you about. I need you to come in. Suddenly, something changes in you. Somebody that you love or you have a relationship with says, I think we need to sit down and talk about the future of this relationship. And suddenly, you get a feeling. You're sitting there in front of the TV, and this was some time ago when they used to have the old sketches of the lightning bolts with the special weather bulletin, and you hear that a tornado is headed right into the middle of your county. Suddenly, you get that feeling. What is that feeling? I can talk about it metaphysically, but right now I'm going to talk about it physically because it works with that. We have two small adrenal glands that when we're threatened, they emit cortisol, epinephrine, and catecholamines. Those are big words for fear. And they travel throughout the body, shunning blood to every necessary part for fight or flight. And have us feeling absolutely either like panic-stricken or at the very least, we've got to move. And the bigger news about this is that as that thought occurs so instantly that it makes these things happen, it forms a groove in your neural pathways, in the synapses. When you have felt something that is extremely emotion producing, they've been called engrams. And I have studied that enough to agree. And neuroplasticity has come to agree. If you have that and it acts as a stored memory even after the situation is over, now you have a place for stress to call home when something else happens. And when something else happens, as it will in life, it will find easier connections in the brain. Now, what does that all mean? What you think about, you become. Metaphysics said it a long time, even before modern medicine. Suddenly, things change. And sometimes it can be wonderful news. I've heard that somebody scratched off a ticket and find out they win $5 million. And suddenly, they get a similar feeling. Or they find out that they're going on a vacation that they want very much to place to visit, getting off work. Suddenly, they feel, but it's a different kind of feeling, but the same hormonal thing inside. Our thoughts direct which way that goes. So it's either fight or flight, or it can be extreme joy, same chemicals, same body, same neural pathways,
same thing except choice. All of a sudden, right now, you have a choice. And I have a choice. And how I'm going to process this thing called life. On those moments, in those moments, where we wonder why, how, could I even take the next step? Truth isn't far away from us. In fact, it rushes to our aid with mighty forces if we allow it. Basil Keene was a playwright in the early part of last century, and he wrote a book called The Conquest of Fear. And what he said was to be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. Boldness has a certain genius quality to it. Being bold, even in the silence of your own being. Boldly deciding that you're not going to take it anymore. That you've decided that you're not going to allow the fear thoughts, the panic thoughts, the upset thoughts to lead you. You will lead them. Now, some people hormonally are born more apt to experience this certain sensitivity that some have. And they have to learn how to, as I say, ride that wild horse. And riding it, the conquering of it, can be a lifetime thing. And many of us who have problems, and who doesn't, in truth, we're supposed to say we're perfect students of metaphysical truth. There's absolutely nothing wrong with us. We affirm it, and there's nothing wrong with that, except we're not believing it. We're lifting up the carpet of our mind, we're sweeping all the stuff under the rug, and say, well, I'll get to it later, because after all, good, true students just don't have this to deal with, and I don't want to think about it. Oh, wow. Fear is the dark room where negatives develop. And that place in you that you sweep things and say, I'm going to get to that later. Not only do you, not necessarily get to it later, they sit there and they grow. And everything that you run into that reminds you of what you have swept under the rug becomes bigger. And you end up almost being a stranger to yourself. This is why I'm a fan of not disowning any part of yourself, no matter how disturbing, no matter how upsetting, no matter how much it shakes you, to find that something lives in you. Because there's nothing to be feared, there's only something to be understood. Understood in the light of the truth that shines on us all the time. Think about it. Did Jesus walk around in perfect affirmation at every moment? Or do we know that he was in the Garden of Gethsemane sweating and crying and saying, may this cup be passed from me? He had his moments. You have your moments. Join the human race. Because we're true students, we don't say that this doesn't exist. What we say is that there's an answer always higher than the one that we are presently reaching for. If we need to sit and marinate in our troubles, as some of us do, for a while before we come to truth, the same God, the same truth, the same infinite power is there as if we did it instantly. In other words, it's like truth says, take a few more laps around that track if you need to. I'm here for you. I love you. I always will be here for you. Now, who catalogs our mistakes? Now, part of the brain that is wired to do that. And why are we wired to do that? Well, to survive. We had to outrun saber-toothed tigers and erupting volcanoes and hurricanes and all these things in our development, in our evolutionary march forward. So we have a lot of years of experience with that, but in this modern day and time, we don't really need to outrun saber-toothed tigers and hurricanes and volcanoes. We have a certain understanding. In other words, our minds, the truth, has to catch up. Or rather, I should say, the fear part of us has to catch up with what we have come to know about ourselves. The present day world gives very little in way of having to run for your life. Except if you're in the corporate world, or you run a business, or you have a family member that makes a decision you don't like. Uh-oh. What's triggered except the same thing that I talked about? We want to set it right, we want to tell them what to do, and we forget that we're true students sometimes. And we say, I've got to make this right. It's up to me. And suddenly, just like that, you're off the beam. You feel like, I know I should, but I can't. Why can't I access what I know? Why aren't I able to do what I have affirmed myself to be able to do all these years? Now I'm going to give you the answer about that. It's ego. It's ego that wants to catalog and keep record of all these events to keep you safe. But it doesn't keep you safe. Suddenly, it begins, and chronically, it continues, and acutely, it hurts. Suddenly, chronically, acutely. Think about the doctor's offices that are filled with things that happen suddenly, and then the doctors try to keep it from being acute and chronic. But we build a story, and that story gets layer upon layer added to it in our mind with every single thing that upsets us out there. That's right. The thing that hurts you at 10 or 15 or 20 or the car wreck that I had sits there in my mind and it waits for other things that impress the fact that this is a world to be scared of. You're to be scared. You're not to be trusted. Look outside. And are there places to look? And people to tell you how to look. And what to see. And how to be. And what to believe. And just be more like what we'd like you to. And especially buy our product. Now, you built a whole other identity on top of an identity that is of dysfunction in your mind because the original fear thought has never been healed. And how do you do that? Suddenly. You can do it suddenly. And the way to do it is by complete and utter surrender. Surrender's been a dirty word. We think about it as somebody says, well, I just give up the fight. I can't do this anymore. There's some of that. That happens. But I think true surrender, when you're giving up the lesser to hold on and impress yourself with the greater, you're doing an act of self-love. You're saying, my way of thinking has gotten me right where I am now. And I'm willing to say that, yes, this was for my growth. It came to pass, not to stay. You know, Henry Drummond, the man that wrote the wonderful little book, The Greatest Thing in the World, which he said was love, and I agree. He said life is not a playground, it's a classroom designed for our higher growth. Some people don't like to hear that. But if it isn't, then this whole thing that we're going through is just a matter of he said, she said, good experiences, bad experience. I'm here 40, 50, 60, 70, tops 110 years and it didn't mean anything. I like to think that there is enough in this world that keeps us, that helps us to grow, that we do that in our soul, and then we're ready to move on to another experience, perhaps bigger and grander than what we've left behind. We're learning, we're evolving, we are evolving Godward. Even the most intransigent fundamentalists will agree that we are to be becoming God. Suddenly it makes sense, doesn't it? If you think of this world as just a random happenstance of events that don't mean anything, that's going to make you insecure. You see it as a classroom designed for your higher education. Well, you may not like that. It may not feel wonderful all the time, but at least you have a starting place. And you know what? You know that wherever you are right now is just where you're supposed to be. You see, I think all of us carry a sense of inferiority. Alfred Adler, the great psychiatrist, you know, he was an ophthalmologist. He studied under Freud, and he later became in the psychological business. And Alfred Adler said that he disagreed with Freud. The greatest motivator of humanity wasn't the sexual instinct. It was the feeling of inferiority and that I need to prove myself. We can use that sense of inferiority, that sense of not enough-ness that we all carry. We can use that for our own growth. We carry it because we're afraid. And there's part of us that knows we're homesick for heaven. Not that we want to go out and die right now, but that our native habitat isn't this place down here of projection, perception, judgment, fear, condemnation, live a few years. Let me ask you something. Can anybody in this whole room, or who's watching, has anybody ever gotten everything right? Every single thing is right in your life. You know, I thought about that for a while. That'd be wonderful. And then I thought about it some more. And then I thought about it some more. If everything was perfect, you'd be living hell. What would, I mean, just sit back. And there's no challenge. I mean, well, some people think heaven's that way. I had a ministerial teacher who told me this, and it wasn't a metaphysical, thank God. It wasn't a metaphysical teacher, but let me tell you how he described heaven. This man. We're going to sit at the portal of heaven and sing everlasting hymns at the feet of God for eternity with no break. And get this, what he said too. Because I said, well, all right, but I have my animals at my side. No. They don't go to heaven. I said, well, I'll have my loved one. No, there's no marriage in heaven. No one giving or receiving marriage. And I said, so I'll be focused totally on the foot of the Master, singing hallelujah forever and ever and ever. He said, that's right. Isn't that wonderful? And he had a big grin on his face, stuck his chin out. And I said, it's horrible. And I said, I guess you're going to flunk me. And he said, well, you're not aiming towards getting on my best side. And I said, Milton, think about what you're saying. I know you're the teacher, but think about that. And eons of that. And you say we're trying to escape hell to get to that? Both of them are the same. Where's the challenge? Where's the growth? Where do you begin to say, I can flex this, I can face this, I want to do something. I want something different. He said, you will have no need of that whatsoever. And I love the way you put it, no need of that whatsoever. As if he had the perfect solution. And I said at that time, in my ministry, of course, I would never, ever say or believe such a thing. And I also have it on pretty good scriptural authority that that's not what we're going to be doing. In my Father's house are many mansions. And suddenly when you recognize that, that means more than just a place to lay down, metaphysically perhaps. That means in the Father's house, there are many different ways of experiencing things. You know, in metaphysics, we say cities or states of consciousness. We say, for instance, virgins represent new ideas. It's reading the Bible with a whole different understanding that it's not the thing that we're reading about, it's what is behind it, the emotion, the feeling, the sentientness, if that is a word, back up. Oh, when you do that, life takes on some seasonings and flavor. Because if you're just walking along in a pro forma pattern of everything predetermined, as John Calvin, the theologian, pointed out, is all predetermined, predestined, is pre-elected, and you're walking through the steps that are predetermined. And then if you're part of the elect, you get to go up there and do that thing that I just talked about for eons, or you die. You know what? If there wasn't a hell, if it was just death, I'd prefer that to being up there doing that forever in heaven. But there's no hell either. You see, these are thoughts. Hell is real, but it's in right here. Right between our ears. And so is heaven. And it's a choice we make. And that's a responsibility that we make and decide that we're going to do it, but suddenly one day it clicks. And when it clicks, you begin to do some things differently. And you know what? You begin not that thing that's in your mind that had a pathway that remembers your fears and your upsets. They'll never quite go away, but you'll use it differently. Oh, now think about that. Instead of quaking in fear and running in terror and doing all these things, you now have forgiven it. It taught you what it needed to teach you, and when that feeling comes up, you can bless it, forgive it, and affirm. Truly affirm, and not whistle in the dark. A true affirmation is one that says, I am one with the ever-present, ever-loving mind of God. A false affirmation says, I am true and present with the ever-loving mind of God. Same words, aren't they? You could be false by saying what are true words. Think about that. It's the feeling you put behind it. When you repeat by rote, when you say that because you think that's what you're supposed to do, it doesn't work. When you repeat that because you know it's the truth, because you come to it on your own, it's life-changing. Same words, different use. Same energy that flows through us, different use. Some people decide to take this wonderful energy that is the God part of us and do wonderful, majestic, grand things in life. And others decide to take it and use it against themselves and other people. The mind, as Milton said, not the Milton that taught me, but I'm talking about the Milton of Paradise Lost. The mind can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. It's up to you. Who are you going to feed? Remember the old story about the animal that says the wolf was it that is in me. Grandson told his grandfather. And it was, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but it was which one gets stronger, the dove of my good nature, the wolf of my bad nature. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it's which one you feed the most. Do you feed the better angels of your nature with everything good you can tell them? And if you don't think there's anything good about today, try missing it. If you don't think you have any good news to speak, try thinking about the fact that you didn't wake up today, but you did. That's one place to start. And if you do one thing, you can do two. If you can do two, you can do three. It may be small, and you may start out thinking, so far to go. That's all right. To this end were you born. What did Jesus say? To this end was I born, to bear truth and witness to God the Father. Where you are is a perfect place to begin your demonstration. And it doesn't have to be like everybody else, and you don't have to walk like everybody else and act like everybody. Who would want that? You're unique, you're you. You're you for a reason. Just love yourself enough to suddenly come, and sometimes it takes a while, to suddenly come to the truth that you were always enough. You were always the perfect place you needed to be. You may not like that. It may not have been fun. I certainly didn't like crashing a car into the lady's truck. And I didn't like getting tackled on the football field and have my knees break. I didn't like a lot of things that turned out in retrospect to be blessings for me because I made a decision to grow through them and not just go through them. And that's what I challenge you to do this morning. And when you do it, and when you make that decision in favor of yourself, know that every power in the universe, every power for good backs you up, not only presently, but in everybody who's ever made the same decision to grow, that are in the records of the Hall of Time. And that's a whole nother message. You have access to the great library of time, as well as this present spirit to help you through what you need to. Make use of it, enjoy it, live it. I want to take that back. You can't always enjoy it, but you can always make a decision that I'm going to learn from it. And guess what? When you learn from something and you master something, there's a sense of joy that comes through that. Mastery over yourself. That's the key. And that's the truth we celebrate here. God bless you this week. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. And now we come to the part of our service that's the pastor's favorite. I mean the offering. And you know why I say that? Because really, a healthy church financially is a good one. You all know that. You know how good it feels to sit in a board meeting and see we've met all our obligations. And you who give online have helped do that. And all of you out here, when I asked you to give 10% more, you did it. And you know what? It's a fun thing to do because you can't outgive this law. You can't outgive God. It always comes back to you. Prove it. Prove it to yourself. Give the best gift of which you're able, and you're helping us spread this message and this ministry really all around the world. Take a look at our Facebook analytics sometimes. I'm like a proud papa about that. I really am. I remember when we started this one moment of pastoral privilege. I remember when we started Facebook, we had 3 followers. In the middle of COVID, it was me and Brett Ackles wondering how in the world are we going to keep this thing going. And I just took a big, deep breath and said, I'm going to go out and do the Sunday services remote, and I'm going to ask for the money. I just did the next logical thing in front of me. And you know what? Look where we are. It happened. And so I ask you to give your best gift. If we can do that 5 years ago, 4 years ago, at that time, we can certainly do it right now and grow. God bless you as you give your best gift. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love. And so it is.
In the midst of his children,
Love you, Bill.
Love can build a bridge.
Oh, love can build a bridge? How about that? Only the next page. Thank you. Thought I had myself on. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Well done, Thom.
Together, we stand and join hands.
Jay, can I make a quick announcement?
Yes, ma'am.
As the president of the board, I just want to say this year we're celebrating 30 years of this congregation. And we're forming a committee. We'd like to have a few people, just 4 on the committee, to come forward to help plan a celebration and homecoming service later on this year. So if you're interested, please talk to me or David Coleman, because we'd love to have your
Or any
input.
board member.
Any board member, yes. So, thank you.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous sound. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Can we say the light of
God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Namaste. Sarai. Close the box. Close the box.
What happened to you? You hurt a foot?
Yes, it's no bad.
And that's how we roll here at Unity. And I got a song for you too. And I'm just lucky to be one of several musicians who get to play here and help bring the message to the hearts of the people. And it's a blessing for me to be able to do this. I get something from doing it. I get something from giving, and I see how people receive, and in turn, that elevates my sense of joy and my sense of we go forward together. And so let us all go forward together, you and us. Whether you call yourselves part of this family or you're just part of the greater human family, you still are siblings, our brothers, you're our sisters. We can only love what we were born to love. That's what it is. Till next week, have a most fulfilling week. And remember that you are loved. Thanks again.